Top teams in the NFC taking each other on here on Monday Night Primetime. We got the Saints, we got the Buccaneers. It's about to be a good one, guys. Now, I will preface this game by saying there are a lot of LOL moments, okay? So just bear with me when those things happen, because we're going to cover them, and I'm going to tell you and kind of explain to you what my thought process was. So I'm not going to say we're going to lose. I'm not going to say we're going to win, okay? So no spoilers there, but I will spoil it by saying just keep yourself on the lookout for some laughable moments in this game, some Madden moments in this game. We're going to go 3 and out on our very first possession here. Like I said, this is a huge game for both teams. We're some of the top teams in the NFC, at least the NFC South, just trying to win that division. The Carolina Panthers are being very sneaky this season. But, you know, on the road against a Buccaneers team, this is going to be tough. But these interceptions are going to help us out big time. Demario Davis with the interception. He wasn't even looking at the pass, but we brought pressure on Tom Brady, and it worked out just fine. 2nd down and 5. Pass going to be thrown deep and completed to Chris Olave. Touchdown, Saints. About time we had something like that happen. A traditional touchdown like that. Guy throws it deep. Nice pitch and catch. Take it to the house. We haven't had that this season, I feel like. We've only had a couple, we've had a lot of goal line touchdowns, maybe 20-yard touchdowns. It's kind of nice to see that. So I decided to super sim, and the minute that I decide to super sim, I haven't done this all year long, and the minute I try to do it now, Leonard Fournette takes us to the house by 75 yards rushing. That's an LOL moment for me. Come on, we haven't super simmed all season long, and then that happens. So they tie the football game up 7-7. I'm just trying to get through this game, trying to get you guys some draft class content created, man. That's all I'm worried about. Alvin Kamara from the 9-yard line going to get stopped at the 1-yard line, thanks to the 1-yard line monster. Probably should have left it to the left side instead of trying to cut up field to the right. Look at that open hole. I think that's open, right? Well, 75. I think that's Andrews Pete's. What are you doing, man? Help me out here. Brady's going to find Jared Cook wide open on the right side from the 45 to the 9-yard line. Marcus May with a tackle. But because of that, and thanks to that, Tom Brady is on fire. He's got the X factor going on, guys. We got a man in motion. That's Cade Otton, I believe. Yep, there he is. Cade Otton, touchdown. We missed a couple tackles, and he's into the end zone. 14-10 Bucks. Let's go to the Saints' next possession. Take a look at that right side, just getting eaten alive by Shaquille Barrett. That hurts, man. We don't have Ryan Ramczyk in this game. He's hurt. 3rd down and 15. Look, we got R1 wide open, right? Right? Cornerback is going all the way following Chris Olave, and psychic defense, man. He turns around and picks us off, and that's another turnover here in gameplay for Jameis Winston. Sucks. I'm reading that corner like he's not even going to look backward. But what do you know? Madden's going to Madden, right? 1st and 10 for the Buccaneers. Brady firing up the middle. That is a pass complete to Chris Godwin. They're at the 3. Fournette. Then left side, Scotty Miller. Open up the middle. So it seems like everybody's open there for the Buccaneers, and our defense just can't seem to stop them. 2nd down and 1. They got the crowd roaring and standing up for their defense. Alvin Kamara able to silence that crowd just a little bit more after a big run. 2nd down and 10. Winston, pass completed to Taysom Hill. Shrugs one guy off. Can't miss the second. 3rd down and 2. Winston going to fire out to the left side. That pass is completed to Michael Thomas. Or was it? They're going to rule him actually incomplete after looking at this. Look at this. 1-2. Looks like maybe that right foot stepped out of bounds. There's the left one down. There's the right one down. It looks like it just did go out of bounds. So Michael Thomas, no catch. Left to kick the field goal up. And luckily the wind took it where it needed to go. That looked like it was going to miss the left. So we got to cut down to an 8-point lead, or an 8-point deficit for us, I should say. 21-13. And Brady continues to slice and dice us up. Brady, pass incomplete. Marshawn Lattimore with a deflection. Probably was in good position to pick it off right there, but decided for the deflection anyway. Pass completed to the right side. That's Chris Godwin. But we do have a flag on the play, and it will be a roughing the passer call on the defense. Man, we just cannot catch a break here. That's David Onyemata with the roughing call on Brady. 1st and 10, pass completed. Wide open, Chris Godwin. And now the blowout is on in front of national television. National audience. 28-13. Brady back here with the football. Going to fire this off his back foot late in the second quarter. That's Bradley Roby with the INT. He's going to take this thing all the way. Touchdown. Leonard Fournette was going to catch him. Thankfully, Bradley Roby had enough speed to outrace him to the end zone. So we do get a pick 6 on Brady. Now 28-20 at the start of the third quarter. They get the football, and there goes Tyrann Mathieu. What's Brady got to say about that? Do they have any chirping going on after that INT for a pick 6? Peyton Turner trying to force the issue there with Bucs fans. Let me get up in the end zone. 28-26. Saints, we're going for it here. It's early in the second half, so why not just try to tie this thing up? Good pass protection, actually. One of the very first times in this game. And we're going to get that 2-point good as Chris Olave makes the catch, does a little dance, and we're all tied up, guys. 2nd down and 10 here for the Buccaneers, and Brady's going to fire to the right side. That's Fournette, but he's going to lose the football. Peyton Turner recovers it, and he's got a chance to make a return off of it, but nope. He's going to get stopped there by Fournette and company. But, man, what a job there by the Saints defense. A couple interceptions, a fumble recovery. Then we got Kamara using his hard cuts, his 360 cutting ability, man. Haven't you have to use that in a long time in these episodes, but your boy's mastering it, man. He's getting there. Always avoid people that talk in third person. Touchdown Kamara would take the lead, 35-28. Oh, but not for long. Leonard Fournette sneaks out of the backfield, and he's got one man to beat. Actually, two. Marcus May gets the tackle, but there is a flag on the play, and it will be a holding call on the offense. So, okay, we push them back to 3rd down and 17. Brady going to fire it deep up the middle. That pass is, almost caught by Jared Cook, but we're able to break this thing up. Jameis going to fire this out to the left, looking for Chris Olave, but that's almost intercepted. Luckily, it wasn't. And we got a 2nd down and 10. Pass completed, so we're testing that side of the field, and that Bucs defense, we pick up the 1st down. Still 35-28, 2:40 left to go in the game, and just nobody open downfield, and Jameis unable to get out of the pocket and release it out of bounds, so we take the sack. Pass completed here to Michael Thomas. We're going to get a little bit of the sack yardage back. 3rd down and 14, little play action. Maybe they thought we were going to go conservative here. We're going to toss this to the right. Kamara did have a wide open running lane there after if he had made the catch inbounds, but unfortunately did not. We'll kick the field goal up and good. So 28-38 game, and Brady up the middle to Chris Godwin. That is another touchdown for this man. He is completely going off. So if you had him in fantasy sports, you're killing it tonight. Buccaneers back with the football. Fournette trying to find some wiggle room. Can't get it done. Going to get a loss. 2nd down and 11. 5:15 left to go. Pass completed here to Mike Evans. Big hit by Mathieu. Able to hold on to the football. 1st down and 10. Brady still with that X factor going on here. And Fournette able to rush to the left side. Going to pick up some more positive yardage there. 2nd down and 4. They're going to continue down with the running game. 3rd down and 1. We're stacking the line. Maybe we can get a big play here on defense, and we're able to stop him? No. They're going to give him the spot. So 1st down and 10. Buccaneers really just grinding that clock out. Maybe trying to look to get this thing to pass the 2-minute marker, get a touchdown, maybe put this thing out of reach. Really, the ultimate goal is to get a field goal, but Bradley Roby with the INT, and now I'm just starting to feel bad. This is like interception number 4 for Brady, and we do a little celebration too early. I'm like, just tackle me. I should have just ran out of bounds. If I just didn't want to get another pick 6 on this, I should have just run out of bounds. But now they get the football back. We don't even have a chance to score here. Oh, it's just so stupid. It's so stupid. Are we going to lose the game because of this? Jared Cook with a big pick up there, just above the 2-minute marker here. Incomplete. So 2 minutes and a second left. Brady, pass, intercepted again. Number 5 on the game. Number 5 on the football game. Number 4 probably should have been a pick 6, but I felt bad. I felt bad, and I'm trying to get this gameplay out to you guys. It's just, Madden is terrible. I will tell it to you guys. Madden is awful. And, like, Tom Brady throws 4 interceptions. Actually, 5 now. Is our defense really that good, or is Madden just that bad? And meanwhile, Jameis Winston throwing to nowhere. Huge kick here for Will Lutz, and we get 3 more points up on the board. So the Buccaneers have no more timeouts left, but it is only a 6-point game. So is that pick 6 decision going to cost me? I really hope not, but Brady's charging these guys down the field. His X factor right now is actually unstoppable. So there's no way that I can, like, a sack, an interception, nothing. It's just not going to stop his X factor from slicing and dicing us up here. We're really looking for an interception. He's thrown 5 this game. We're looking for one here. Big time hit on Brady. Throws it out of bounds. 3rd down and 10. If they get a touchdown here, they win the game. That's what we're trying to avoid. Pass completed here to Jared Cook. That's going to stop the clock for him. 19 seconds left. And with this field position, they're just going to try to bomb this thing deep. Here's Brady. Pass going to be incomplete. Tipped, but almost caught by Chris Godwin with 10 seconds on the clock. That would have been a backbreaker for the Saints. Deep bomb yet again. Another try to the end zone. Pass incomplete. Broken up in the end zone. 2 seconds left to go. This is the last play for the Buccaneers. Brady is hit as he's throwing it. Incomplete. Saints will get a hard-fought, weird victory. 41-35. I just don't know how I feel about that game, but I knew I had to get gameplay out to you guys. Like, I honestly thought Brady throws 5 interceptions. Do I exit out of this and do I play it again? I'm kind of short on time. I got to get this out to them, so. So there you go. I hope you guys had fun with the gameplay, even though it was a little bit goofy. The Super Sim decision, how random is that? I was going to be like, let's get him to the end zone. Let's get him to the 20-yard line if that's the way that's going to go. It'll shave some time off the clock, and what's 2 minutes to me was 5 minutes in game. You know what I mean? Let's get this thing moving a little bit. I'm just kind of short on time posting this. So, yeah, Super Sim, Fournette goes 75 yards, and then pick 6. Should have been a pick 6. Fumbled at the 1. But you see it, guys, if I dove for that and I got a touchdown, everybody would be like, why did you press square to give yourself up and he went into the end zone? Do you know how to dive? Or if I ended up diving into the end zone, then people would be like, why are you trying to run up the score? Tom Brady's got 4 interceptions, 2 pick 6s. That's not real. If you veer off and run out of bounds, nobody would ever do that, right? Bradley Roby would never do that. He gets an INT, he's going all the way, right? So, I don't know. I felt like in that situation, as soon as I picked it off, I'm like, what's the most realistic way that I could, not score a pick 6 here? Run into the middle of the field? I can't really do that because there's wide open lanes all the way to the end zone here. So the only thing I could think about doing was celebrating too early. That's it. That's all. My job as a creator is trying to make things I gotta make some storylines. That's what I have to do. I gotta make storylines. I don't want to run roughshod through every team in the league. I don't want to win the Super Bowl in year 1. But if it does happen, then great. But if we win the Super Bowl in season 1, awesome. Because next season, we're going to lose a lot of pieces. I haven't talked to you guys about the cap space situation yet, but it is not good. It is bad. We can't actually even sign anybody. We can't renegotiate contracts. You see this players ready to negotiate thing. There is no negotiation. We don't have any money next season. So when I mentioned that this year is basically a win it now, it's a do it now type of year, do it now or never. That's really what it is this season. Because our big pieces, a lot of big pieces from this defense, from this offense, we're not going to be able to re-sign them. We have no money to spend on these guys. So yeah, this season's really important to try to get it done this year. But as you've seen, I've lost some games that I should have won, and I've won some games that I probably shouldn't have, like this Buccaneers game. So I think that we're in a pretty decent spot. I got to figure out how I'm going to lower the interceptions for the CPU. Stafford throwing multiple picks. You've got Brady throwing 4 picks. It's getting goofy out here, man. And I just, it's Madden. I'm just trying to figure it out. Do I lower interceptions on the user from 35 to 0? What do you? I want to get credit for a turnover if my guys are there and they deserve to make an interception. This is the NFL. Guys that should make INTs, should make those grabs, should be able to make those grabs. But then again, I don't want quarterbacks throwing 4 picks in a game. It's not realistic, and sucks. Madden is not good, and sucks that we're in this situation that we have to kind of tinker with sliders in that way, but that's the situation. So anyway, let me know in the comment section what you guys thought about the episode. Maybe just you can even make fun of me. I don't care. You make fun of me. Do it. Do it. I want to see your best roasts right there in the comment section for those of you guys that made it this far. Anyway, next episode will be against the 3-10 Atlanta Falcons. This game will be at home. We will simulate this game just to kind of get through this one. This doesn't really have any playoff implications for Atlanta, at least. It does for us, but we're going to simulate it. They're not very good, so 3-10 taking on 9-4. We'll sim that one, and that'll be posted on Sunday along with the Browns game in Week 16. So that game is also going to be played, so that's not going to be a simulated week. We're going to take on Deshaun Watson on the road and see how we fare against a hostile environment out there in Cleveland. So that'll be Sunday's video, and then we're going to talk about at the end of that video, just like we're doing here in this one, we're going to talk about running backs in our draft class from NCAA Football 14's UL Monroe Dynasty. We're going to be talking about wide receivers and the tight ends. And then on Monday, against the Eagles, we're going to be talking about the offensive linemen and the defensive linemen. Then Week 18 against Carolina, we're going to be covering the linebackers and the defensive backs. And then that's it. It's done. The draft class reveal is completely done. It'll officially be uploaded here to Madden Share. That way you guys can download it if you have a PlayStation 5. I don't know if it's like cross-gen, if you guys on Xbox can access that. But I'm not going to make 220 players again for just Xbox players. I'm sorry. I love you guys, but that's a lot of work, man. It's taken a lot of weeks to do this. PS5 exclusive. GG9 Draft Class, PS5 exclusive. Get yours today. All jokes aside, let's get into the scouting video for our running backs. All right, guys, good win against the Buccaneers. We're going to be covering the running backs here in the scouting part of our video today. I only have gameplay on Evan Greco, Barry Williams, Markmorris, Aaron Chavez, Jerome Burks, Ryan Armstrong, and Dustin Perry. Everyone else that is inside the draft class currently, I do not have gameplay on. So I'm just going to be covering the statistics of those players plus some attribute grades and kind of see kind of what they do and what they offer, what they're given to the table here for an NFL team. And that's really going to do it for this episode. So let's just dive right in with the players that we don't have gameplay on, and we'll finish those guys with gameplay. So Jermaine Johnson, a 96 overall player, 92 speed. That's pretty quick for a running back here. 81 strength. So he's a power type of running back, 5'11", 201. And he's got some really nice acceleration here. 81 awareness, 94 break tackle, 95 trucking, 78 elusiveness is not bad either. So Jermaine Johnson's actually a pretty darn good running back. He's never been over the 1,000 yard mark. He's a back here for Florida State, but he is a 4-year starter, so he does have a lot of experience. And let's see if he can catch the football here a little bit too, just a little bit. They've gone up every single season, 6, 11, 12, 15. Longest reception this year was 39 yards, so he really kind of taps out at the 30-plus reception mark. So that's not bad. 21 average yards per game in his senior season, 107 yards after the catch. So he's kind of figuring that part of his game out, but I like this back. He's got 6.9 rushing yards per average rush. Yards after the first hit, he's got 74. Touchdowns, very consistent type of player. So Jermaine Johnson looks like he could fall into that first round, maybe late second round type of talent here for a running back. Just depends on what teams need. It's tough to determine when running backs are going to go because it's such a pass-heavy type of league. But when you can get a guy like this who can, in short yardage situations, he can kind of be that power back. Jermaine Johnson might be one of those sneaky little guys that you can get in like a third round, early third round, late second type of deal, and get a nice little steal. So Ty Parker is going to be the next guy that we talk about here. 6 feet, 215. He is currently hurt. And as we take a look at his statistics, you're going to see kind of what happened to him. So he had 107 rushing attempts. We're in week 13 right now, so he's been out for quite a while. In fact, there's no way if he returned today, there's no way that he would get to his average about over 200 rushing attempts. So he's cut that down in half. So his injury is a partial ACL tear. So he was well on his way to outperforming what he did in his junior season at 1,319 yards and 7.1 average yards per rush. So yeah, Ty Parker's the real deal up until he got hurt. So how is this going to affect his pro status? I'm not sure, but if we take a look at his skills, 90 speed, 94 acceleration, 84 agility is not bad for a running back either. And we talked about how Jermaine Johnson from Florida State was going to be kind of explosive. This guy seems like he's a little more explosive than Jermaine Johnson. Look at the elusiveness at 96. He can truck. He's good at break tackling at 97 as well. The juke move at 93, spin move at 88. So Ty Parker is an interesting player, an interesting prospect. He's currently an All-American semifinalist. And why wouldn't he be for these statistics here? And he can catch the football a little bit as well. I like Ty Parker, but I think he's going to have to get knocked down just due to the injury and the ACL partial tear. I think he's out for another 5 weeks, so he's not going to play for the rest of the season in this dynasty. And he's going to have to be knocked down about the 4th, 5th type of round there at the NFL draft. And it's unfortunate for Ty Parker, but he's like right in that range where we could sneakily add a guy like this and get a really good back if he gets healthy, of course. Next guy we're going to talk about is Demetrius Lamb, and he is ultimately he's power back. He's a power back. 6.9 average yards per rush is not bad for a guy that's labeled a power back. So dare I say it, but you know, Reggie Bush, his junior season had about, I think, a 6.3 average yards per rush. 6.8. I'm looking at it right here. 6.8. That was Reggie Bush's numbers. Demetrius Lamb is having a 6.9 average yards per rush. Average yards per game about 70. So he's nowhere really near Reggie Bush's totals for like per game on a per game basis for rushing yards. But I like him. I'd like Demetrius Lamb here for Nebraska. 88 yards after the first hit. Longest rush would be 47. Rushes of more than 20 yards, though, only 1. So if you really want to compare him to Reggie Bush, you really can't. Maybe Sean Alexander, maybe Ricky Williams, maybe that kind of that power type of mold there instead of Mr. Elusive. Demetrius Lamb would be a guy that you could also probably get pretty sneaky in the 4th round. Maybe 3rd round if you're kind of desperate for an RB2. Maybe A.J. Dillon. I'd have to look at A.J. Dillon's numbers, but look at the juke moves and spin moves and stiff arm. Like, he's more than just a power back. I don't want to say he's Derrick Henry, but I think he has the potential to be a Derrick Henry type of running back there, especially when he's being labeled as a power guy. He's 6'1". He's got some really decent size. Maybe a Le'Veon Bell. I'm throwing out all these names here, guys. But 6'1", 233, that's a big boy. And he's got some decent speed along with it, 81 strength. So Demetrius Lamb would be very interesting of a prospect. Next guy up, we've got a power back by the name of Ryan Kennedy here for Iowa. He's a senior, 6 foot, 199. You might need to bulk up a little bit. I'm not sure. I think if you're going to be 6 feet as a running back, maybe you want to get to upwards of 200, maybe 210, maybe 212. I've been out of the game for a little while, guys, as far as like prototypes and sizes, and so forgive me here, but you know, Ryan Kennedy's probably a guy that you take in the 5th round or something. I'm not too interested in Kennedy, given his average yards per rush there at 5.8. Double digits touchdowns. He's more so this guy that's kind of a third down and short type of back. He's a power guy that can help you move the chains when you need him to. But, you know, can he catch the football a little bit? He's got 19 catches this season. Average yards per reception at 12.9. Average yards per catch is 5.5. So he's got a little, when you do the math there, he's got a little explosiveness when he catches the football, right? So the average yards per catch is at 5.5. Average yards per reception is 12.9. So he can get out there and run a route a little bit, I guess. Maybe a lot of screen passes. Maybe some swings, maybe some wheels. We like to run those in Madden, but yeah, Ryan Kennedy's statistics, I mean, you look at his attributes here, juke moves a 90, spin moves a 92. You know, if you're electric type of back here in NCAA, this is going to be like a 97, 99 juke move, 99 spin. These low 90s, high 80s is like, you're pretty good. You're pretty good. So that's kind of what I'm looking at here with Ryan Kennedy. I'm not too interested in him, but he would be a nice, nifty little player if you ever wanted to take like a guy that's, you know, is kind of a one-trick pony. Next up, we got Trey Howard from NC State. So he's currently hurt as well. So he's going to have to get knocked down. And I forgot to mention this about Ty Parker being a 96. Everybody here in the draft class is currently going to be a -20. So the overall that you see here, like Kennedy as a 92, he's going to be knocked down as a baseline to a 72. Likewise, Trey Howard's going to be a 72. We've got Jermaine Johnson's going to be a 76 coming in. And depending on what they do, guys, depending on how many awards they win, depending on if they've had over 1,000 yards rushing or some kind of like generic milestone that they met, they'd either keep their grade or they would increase to kind of move them up and down the draft class. Now, being hurt, that actually is going to hurt you and your overall, and I think you get knocked down like a grade, not a grade, but a projection, I guess. So if Trey Howard was projected to go in like the 3rd round, I'd be basically pushing him down to the 4th. I hope that makes sense, because what we're trying to do is I'm trying to differentiate the Ryan Kennedys and the Trey Howards of the world, but really in Madden draft classes, usually those guys are like the top dudes, and there's rarely any 73 should be the top dudes, really, mostly in a Madden draft class. So not only are we having top dudes, we're also having the top dudes be a 73. So I kind of want to find a way to get like Kennedy down to like a 68, maybe Trey Howard down to like a 68, 66 type of thing. You know, maybe we can figure that out, but you know, being hurt definitely doesn't help your cause there. But yeah, so when we look at Trey Howard, again, 5.9, it's decent rushing yards, 590 this season, only one rush of more than 20. Almost there at over 100 yards for yards after the first hit. So he can break a tackle, he can bust off a little bit, and yards after the catch, 6.8. So really these guys are kind of similar. The dudes that I don't have gameplay on, they're very power built, you know, 5'9", 198. He's a short and stocky dude, is Trey Howard. Juke move, he can juke, he can bust out a juke every now and then. Spin move at an 86, but stiff arm. I don't know. I'm not too interested in Trey Howard. I think the injury kind of scares me away. Maybe he comes back as a junior. He comes back for his senior season to kind of improve his draft stock. But yeah, Trey Howard, Howard Kennedy, I'm not really too interested in these two guys. Now, Brandon Jones is a dude that I probably should have gotten gameplay on. He's an impact player. He's a All-American. 92 overall, 89 speed, acceleration, agility's good. The awareness is a little bit low. Break tackle 94. And then you look at his elusiveness at an 88, vision 86, juke move, spin move, not too bad. Route running, he can run a route a little bit. He's a junior, 6'3", 190, good size for a running back there. So he can be a speedy guy as well. Guy can get out into some stretch plays. Probably can catch the football a little bit. No, I guess not. Only 9 catches. Yeah, but look at those rushing yards. Look at those rushing yards. 1,200 his freshman season. Remember, he's a junior. So 2017. Just erase the dates from your guys' minds. Freshman, 1,200 yards. Sophomore, 1,500. Junior season, 1,500. He's going to eclipse his previous record high at 1,540. He's going to definitely get over that. And average yards per rush, 6.4. Double digits in touchdowns every single season. He had 21 rushing touchdowns last season. And he didn't even win a Heisman. So it just kind of goes to show you, like, Brandon Jones is the real deal. And I'm actually interested in a guy like Brandon Jones late. You know, as a 72 baseline type of player, I think we can kind of upgrade him just a little bit just based on the production that he's had. I'm interested in some Brandon Jones right there. That's going to do it for the guys that we don't have gameplay on. We're going to now take a look at Dustin Perry, Ryan Armstrong. We're going to take a look at Jerome Burks, Aaron Chavez, Markmorris, LeBlanc, Barry Williams, and Evan Greco. Let's go ahead and talk about Evan Greco. And while he may not be in the Heisman race this season, his production speaks for itself, as the do-it-all running back has posted over 1,100 rushing yards this season, averaging 8 yards per carry and 13 touchdowns. He also has 31 receptions on the season with 5 touchdowns, so he can chip in the passing game as well. Greco possesses elite vision and playmaking ability with the strength and speed combo that rivals only a couple other running backs in this class. He's the best back in this class, hands down. I like his strengths at vision, power, acceleration. Weaknesses, I would say, as blitz pickup and pass blocking, and he just doesn't have game-breaking speed. He's going to be serviceable at the pro level, but we see in a couple of these highlights, he does have speed. I don't want to knock him for that too much, but he's going to be serviceable at the pro level. Pro comparison, I give him Sean Alexander. Just a nice blend of speed and power. Grade, I give him an A. And projection, mid to late first round. Next up, we have Florida International's Dustin Perry, a Heisman candidate. Dustin Perry is the smaller school version of Evan Greco. And despite his production, Perry is getting knocked by NFL scouts due to the style of offense that Florida International runs in its very heavy option attack. Perry does get lost at times with other mouths to feed, so to speak, but man, can he break a tackle and get out on the block when his number isn't called. I like Perry's production each and every season. His numbers are a little inflated due to the offense that FIU runs, but the eye test definitely tells you he has what it takes. As far as his strengths, I like speed, break tackle. He doesn't shy away from contact. He's not afraid of the volume. He's a good pass catcher, and he's a good blocker too. So even in pass protection, he can kind of do it all there. Weaknesses, wear and tear is definitely a concern. So a lot of tread on those tires. Got to be concerned about the number of carries and the volume that he had at the college level. Pro comparison, I'm not too sure who he compares with. There's not many option style running backs that are like him. And projection, I give him a round 3. Next up, we have Ohio State's Ryan Armstrong. Armstrong has taken the lead back role ahead of teammate Lucius LeBlanc due to an injury. While Armstrong is not as quick, speedy, or an electric type of back, he's more of that prototypical running back. Low center of gravity, hard to bring down, that kind of guy. He's currently averaging 6.7 yards per carry with over 600 rushing yards on less than 100 totes, aka carries. He's explosive in short areas, if that makes sense. He doesn't possess the game-breaking speed of LeBlanc or an Aaron Chavez, which we're going to talk about in a moment, but he's an all-purpose guy who has a solid all-around game. I like Armstrong as a stash back on any team looking for depth right there, with the potential of being a running back one someday. Strengths I give him are vision. He utilizes his blockers well. He understands his role as a chain mover. He's not a guy, if he takes it, if he sees an opening, he's going to take it. Like, he has the ability to take it to the house, but it's got to be on the perfect play. Like, he doesn't really possess the twitch that's needed to like make defenders miss or anything, and he doesn't really have that game-breaking speed to like hit a hole and go. He needs his blockers to really set it up for him, and I kind of compare him to Matt Forte a little bit. Forte, he's not the quickest guy. He's kind of a bigger-bodied back. He can catch the ball. He can run in between the tackles. He can run outside. He can kind of do it all, right? That's kind of what I see with Ryan Armstrong. A grade, I give him a B, a solid B. Projection, I say around 3. Next up, we have Lucius LeBlanc from Ohio State. So the teammate of Ryan Armstrong, we talked about him just a little bit. He was the lead back at Ohio State, and LeBlanc was in for a heck of a season, well on his way for his second 1,000-plus yard rushing year, but an injury to his elbow has sidelined him multiple weeks and is still out for 10 weeks dating here at week 13. So he's done for the season. Luckily, his draft stock isn't going to take too much of a hit with this type of injury, as it's just an elbow and not something that will affect his running like an ACL injury or something to his leg. Overall, LeBlanc is the lightning to Armstrong's thunder in the Ohio State backfield and should be considered a top running back in the class given his athletic ability. Strengths, speed, acceleration, agility. Weaknesses, he could be injury prone. I think that once you're a running back and you've got that injury tag, sometimes people can think that, you know, you've now got that injury bug. You might not be an every down back. He could be kind of a gadget type of guy. I'm not sure what he's going to do at the next level, really. Pro comparison, I think he's more like Job at best. He's small kind of guy, 5'9", very speedy. You can use him in the passing game a little bit as an extension. I kind of like the Job at best comparison. I give him a B+ grade, just outside an A or an A-. Round 2 projection, I think he could slide right into that round 1 if enough teams like him. My number 5 running back here for gameplay highlights will be Jerome Burks from UL Lafayette. Now, we mentioned Evan Greco as a do-it-all back and Dustin Perry as sort of a discount version of Greco, but Jerome Burks is truly an all-purpose back. We have a ton of film to prove that. His receiving game is top-notch. His running ability showcases a good balance of speed and power. He's one of those dudes that you can revolve an entire offense around if you decide to take this guy. He could be one of those dudes that really evolves your offense. His size at 6'2" scares some teams off as he's a little too tall for a prototypical running back. He can't really hide between the tackles, but he's very versatile. He's very well-rounded. And I just think that he compares nicely to Le'Veon Bell. I've mentioned that in one of the other guys that we didn't have gameplay on, just with his size and his weight and his skill set. But Burks really does remind me through gameplay. Like, we can see it. Le'Veon Bell was a beast running between the tackles. He was also really good at catching the football and really good at getting some yak yardage, man. Yards after the catch. So I still think that some teams might think he's too big. He's basically a wide receiver playing running back. So I'm going to give him a solid B, just like Armstrong. Projection, I think round 2. He could sneak into late round 1 consideration. Next up, we have Aaron Chavez, who I believed, and probably many believed, that he was the top running back in the entire class. I still think that he is, even though the production has dipped from a season ago. He won the Walter Camp Trophy and the Walker Trophy last season. I just think he's that dude. He had over 1,400 rushing yards a season ago with 23 touchdowns on the ground. And he's one of the most consistent backs in the class. And, again, that slight dip in production. He's not on pace this season to reach last year's numbers. But this may be due to having a freshman quarterback starting for the Ducks this season. Teams are stacking the box against Chavez to game plan around the Ducks star and really take that running game away and challenge the young quarterback. Either way, he's averaging just a tick above his 6.2 average yards per rushing attempt last year with 6.3 this season. So he's actually a little bit better on a per rush basis than last year. But still, he showcases speed, twitch, cutback ability that rivals only a few other running backs in the class. He's one of my favorites in the entire class. His strengths would be vision, speed, twitch, cutback ability, and weaknesses. I can't really find many, but maybe he could be, his one weakness could be a projection. Is he a one-year wonder? What is the true reason why his production lacked this season? And if you look at his statistics here, he's only really had one good year, and it was last year. And this year, he's kind of getting there. But is it because of the quarterback? Is it because of the offense? We're not really sure. So he's kind of a wild card in this sense. But he's showcased the ability in gameplay against UL Monroe, if you want to count that. Grade, I give him an A-. Pro comparison, I'm going to say Adrian Peterson. That's a lofty comparison, but when you look at Adrian Peterson's highlights, he's got that cutback, he runs angry, he runs hard, he's got that power in his game too, speed. I think that he reminds me a lot of AP. AP all day. AD, what? Projection, I'd say late round 1. I think that Chavez is going to be one of the top backs taken on the board. Next running back up on the board is LeSean Reynolds Jr., and this guy is impressive to me. Last season, 108 rushing attempts, 567 yards, 12 touchdowns, and now this year, he's upwards of 900 with a 7.3 average yards per rush. The one thing here about LeSean Reynolds Jr., he's being projected as a round 2, round 3 type of running back, and I think that that's kind of unfair, but this is kind of where a guy like this is going to be slotted, especially because he doesn't catch the football. He's not an all-purpose back by any means. He's gonna run. He's a hard runner, and I think he kind of reminds me of Arian Foster a little bit. Don't think that I'm just doing that because he's a Tennessee guy, but he just runs like Arian Foster. He's got speed. He's got some power. to his game. I think he's more of a discount Aaron Chavez a little bit. He's not going to catch the ball very much, and he does have the ability to cut back when needed. I like LeSean Reynolds Jr. He is a custom player. Pro comparison, again, Arian Foster, grade, I'm going to say a B. So he's a nice, solid little B. And projection, I think that's fair that he's going to fall in that round 2, round 3 type of mold. Next guy up is Markmorris from Wisconsin. He is a volume type of back. Now, I don't have a ton of gameplay of Markmorris because he had 30 carries for 147 yards against Nebraska. I just think that Markmorris is just one of those dudes that he's just a grinder type of back. I think that he's going to be a late round selection. He's currently labeled as a balanced running back, but he really didn't show a lot of speed. He's just one of those guys that needs his blockers to give him space and make some things happen. So if you're looking for a cheap running back, Markmorris might be one. So round 4, round 5 type of running back there. I think that he could. I'm not gonna leave it out that he could surprise some people with his NFL career, but I'm not necessarily too interested in Markmorris if I don't have to be. One of my favorite running backs in this class is Barry Williams, and I left him off of the discussion early on because I really wanted to dive into Barry Williams. He is a freak, man. If you wanted somebody to compare with Adrian Peterson, this guy might be it. He's got the speed, he's got the power, he's got the stiff arm. Like, this dude is something else, man. So if you want a guy that's going to rival Chavez, Greco, it's Barry Williams. I think that he's got some running back in his name, man. He's got Barry for Barry Sanders and Ricky Williams for Williams. I think that those kind of guys remind me of him. Now, he might not remind me of Sanders because he doesn't really showcase a lot of moves, but does he power through people, man? He's a bowling ball. He's a truck, man. Like, you can't take this guy down. Against Grambling State, he went absolutely crazy. A pro comparison, I think he's a blend of everybody that's a power back. I think that's how good that he can be. Strengths, obviously, ball carrier vision, strength, speed. I'm not going to give him agility. I don't think that's part of his game, but weaknesses, I think, yeah, agility and maybe acceleration. I don't know, but Barry Williams is going to be a guy that I think is going to have to be taken in round 1 or round 2. Any team that grabs him, I think they're just going to fall in love with him, and they're going to revolve their offense around him. Next guy we're going to talk about here is Ryan Goss, 6'2" senior from LSU. He's got 1,200 rushing yards on the season so far. Can catch the football just a little bit. I'd like to see more from a guy that's got that wide receiver build. He's only got 12 receptions on the season, but it's not like he can't. Rushing yards I'm a little concerned by because they do implement a lot of the option, which is not what a lot of NFL teams do. So there are some question marks with Ryan Goss, but I think teams really like where he plays, the competition level in which he plays, and his production. So that's really what slots Ryan Goss in at round 1, round 2 projection. Even though I think some weaknesses are is that there's not a lot known about him. You know, looking at his junior season, his sophomore season, it's not like he didn't produce, but you know, there's just given that offense and what they do at LSU, I've got some question marks about Goss. The physical tools are there, but as far as how you got those numbers, that's what gets me a little bit worried about him. But round 1, round 2 projection for him, I think that's fair. I think a lot of scouts are going to fall in love with this guy, even though there are some question marks. I like other running backs more than Ryan Goss. I like Williams, I like Greco, like Chavez. I even like Jermaine Johnson a little bit more than Ryan Goss. I like Burks. I like Jerome Burks more than Ryan Goss, but, you know, it's not how an NFL scout's going to think. They think that they could work with this guy a little bit. All right, guys, well, that's going to do it here for the scouting video for running backs. Leave a like if you like this thing. We'll be talking about the wide receivers and tight ends here in the next video. And again, just kind of like what I mentioned before in a previous video, there's only so many times that you can see the same animation over and over and over again. I think that you've found like a golden nugget about a player. Like, oh, look at his route running, look at his footwork, and look at how he's catching contested balls. Like, I don't know. Like, I just feel like with wide receivers, tight ends, O-linemen, there's only so much that you can look at. Running backs, you can at least see how they maneuver through traffic, and you can see the power on display. Quarterbacks, you can see their decision making. You know, maybe cornerbacks, you can see their reaction time and their recovery speed and things like this. So there's there's positions and there's players that will definitely be able to get more highlights on, but I just felt like wide receivers and tight ends, you see the same thing over and over and over again. There'll be some guys that we have highlights on, and there's going to be a lot of guys that we're just going to get screenshots of their attributes and their production. I think that that's the route that we're going to take for this next scouting video, because there's just going to be a lot of them. There's going to be a ton of them. Like, we have over, I think, 20 wide receivers and like 8 or 9 tight ends to cover. So it's a lot. It's a lot of players to cover, and that's a lot of video footage to gather. A lot of deep diving to do on those specific guys. So that's it, guys. Next time I see you, that's what we're going to be covering, wide receivers and tight ends. Then the next video after that, it's going to be the linemen, so offensive linemen and D linemen. And then I'll talk to you guys about the rest of them, which means really only linebackers and DBs that are left. So that's it, guys. As I said, leave a like if you like this thing. I'll see you in the next one. As always, thank you so much for watching, and peace.